Okay, welcome back. This is part 2 on the training video working with air dry clay, and we're working on coil pots. Remember, we're making a form something like this. And so yesterday let me uncover this. It's getting a little chilly out, isn't it? It's fall. It's put my longer, thicker shirt on. Okay, so yesterday I built the base and added 2 coils. Got it up here, a couple inches tall. And then I just loosely covered it with plastic. I didn't seal it really tight. And so, keep a plastic bag around, and it got a little firmer. That's good. We really have to control the drying in any of these ceramic projects. We have to control the water content. If it gets too hard, we would have to add some water. And if it's too soft, we have to let the air get to it a bit. This is just about perfect. So I'm going to show you how to add 2 or 3 more coils, get it a little taller. And this is a 3 or 4 step process. Remember, we're going to be using the template. We're going to follow that, make sure that the shape of this piece follows this curve, and so we're still heading outwards, and then we're going to make a turn on the 3rd video where we actually start to go inwards. Okay, so we're up about here on this piece. And I don't know if I've talked about rules. There's rules here. Even though we're not in an actual classroom setting, I want you to understand the rules. One of the rules we talked about was cleaning our tools, right? I think this is still pretty messy. So get a little water and towel or rag, and let's clean that off. Come on. Don't be a slob. Okay? You might be sharing these with other people, and so, get that. This is our stainless steel rib. It's a great tool we use a lot, but we don't want to damage it or let it get too dirty. So that's one rule: clean up your tools. Another rule: don't eat the clay. Reminds me of my father. I think I have a picture of my dad. See if you see that picture there. That's my dad, my mom, and myself, and my 3 brothers. I actually had one more brother who was born later, but so my mom had 5 boys. But you see, I'm the youngest one in this picture, and clearly from that picture you can see that I was my father's favorite. Or maybe it was just because I was the smallest one and I fit there, but anyway. So my mom was Alice, that's Frank, and then my brothers David, Mark, John, and I'm Philip there. Okay. And I think about my dad a lot. He passed, and I remember when he passed, I was charged with calling some of his old friends to let them know, and I called one gal up in Washington State to tell her that my father had passed away, and when she answered the phone, she swore that I was my dad. And so that was something. But so I guess as we get older, we become our fathers sometimes, or mothers in some cases. But my dad, speaking of rules, he would had a lot of rules, and he would always say my name, Philip, Philip, Philip. You know, he'd call out my name. Every time I still hear that. You know. And Philip, he'd call me on the phone and ask me how I'm doing my bank account or whatever. But he was a character, but loved the guy. So my brothers, however, again, the three brothers, they were horrible. They beat me, abused me, cruel. I'm fine now. I don't hold any grudges. They live locally here. Years of therapy, I'm in good shape. Okay. I digress. Okay, where were we? Coil pots. All right. So I'm going to add a new coil. And one thing I want to show you is if your edge is a little dry here, when you add the next coil, you might want to make sure it adheres. This is getting a little hard, so what you can do is take your pin tool, and we do what we call scoring. And what we do is we just take that tool and put these hash marks, kind of crisscross pattern, see, all the way around the edge where we're going to be joining a coil. Okay, so remember, crisscross. And this way we make sure the new coil really adheres there and it doesn't crack there at that seam. And then the next thing we do is we add this, what this is this is just some of this extra clay, little pieces of clay like this. We just break that up and throw that in, let that dissolve in water. And this becomes kind of like our glue in the ceramic world. This is a slurry. It's just liquefied clay. Some of this clay, this is some of the red clay from earlier. But anyway, just add water to it till it becomes kind of like a thick pea soup kind of thing. Again, don't eat it. And I know I don't have to tell you that, but so then we'll just brush a little bit on the edge there. See, I'm just going to add a little. Again, that color doesn't match this darker clay, but we'll probably be decorating the outside of this pot, so that won't matter. All right, so we get a nice coating of the slip or slurry, which is just liquefied clay. And then let's just grab some more clay out of here. Some that I sliced off yesterday. So we're going to take this and take my ring off here. And we're going to do wedging again. This is where we push with our heels, roll towards you, push away, towards you, push away. Just get it loosened up, get the air bubbles out, so that all the clay is one consistency. I would say ideally do that maybe 20 to 30 times, okay. Then once you've done that, let's go ahead and form it back into a compact ball. Then I'm going to roll it. And what I'm doing is I'm going to make a coil, or a few coils. Remember we went over this yesterday, and then one thing you can do here is you kind of spin it. I think of a cinnamon stick. I guess I'm hungry, but okay, then spray a little water on the table. That keeps the moisture in the piece. And then we're just rolling it out, starting in the middle and just walking that clay out. Try not to get any weak spots. This is a big piece. I'm going to cut this down. And don't spend a long time doing this because the clay will start to dry out if you... Fortunately, it's pretty cool and damp out, so this clay won't dry too fast. But okay, so rolling back and forth and moving it out as I go. Don't push too hard. Don't try to put a kink in it. Okay, now I'm going to cut this down. Okay, we've already added the slurry to it. Now let's take our coil. And because we're going outward still, I'm just going to put this right directly on the top ledge. And then remember, we overlap that. We're just going to cut 45-degree angle there. Remove this piece, take that little piece out, and push it down there. So now we have a good joint there. Okay, now we're going to take and from the inside first, schmuzzle, that's a good word. Smush. My dad had a lot of funny words. He, like toiletries, he would say accoutrements, accoutrement. I always think of that. Okay, on the outside then we're going to schmuzzle. We're closing up this seam here. Okay, you want to work that clay in. So that seam is worked together there. And then now we're going to pinch it, just kind of like our pinch bowl. Squeezing it together and pinching it up. Okay. Now we've got a little more height and it's coming out a little further. I'm going to wet the table again. Roll out a little bit more of this coil. Add one more. Just right on the top there. Overlap. Go ahead and cut a little 45-degree angle. Join that together. And again, smush the inside. Hopefully you can see this. And then smush that seam on the outside. Join that together. And we're going to pinch that. When we're pinching it, we're pulling up a little bit at the same time. And we're continuing to come out, try to keep this round. One thing now we can do is take our paddle, in this case a paint stick. Maybe before that we might want to smooth out with our rib. Smooth out that. Just kind of move that clay around. Now we can take our paddle. You can see that really starts to, I'm supporting it from the inside with my hands, my fingers. I'm just paddling that seam that you can see there. I'm supporting that with my fingers inside. If you have a low spot, kind of push it up a little. Okay, so we've added 2 more coils to this. We're getting more height. We can also continue with our rib, smoothing that. Be gentle with your piece. Don't throw it around here because it's very soft. What are you doing, Philip? My dad would say. Dad, I'm showing these guys something. Okay. Okay, let's keep paddling that. Let's smooth out this bottom a little bit. Keep that round. Maintain that round profile there. These are great tools just to stick, but okay, and then the next thing we want to do is let's check our profile with our template. And so you can see there's a little gap here, so push the piece out to the template. Some places it really has a ways to go. Sometimes when you're moving this draws in, so maybe I hold my hand to keep this opening. But you see where I'm pushing the clay out to meet up with this silhouette. It's really a cool way to work to achieve a certain form. So keeping this flat, protect this, keep this in a safe place here as we're doing this so you don't lose it. Okay, that's maintaining, it's going outward still, and we're up against the template. You can go back inside here and smooth that a little with the rib if you'd like. It's always kind of nice to finish but every time that you do some work on this clay, you'll want to check the template again, make sure it hasn't moved on you. Okay, and again we can take some of the lines out that that we've, when we push the template up against it, we get these lines here, so you can paddle those out. Okay, so once you get it smoothed out and you've checked all the angles, then we'll go ahead and cover this again and loosely. And then I'm going to come back a little later today and probably a couple hours and add a few more coils. So this is, completes stage 2 of building a coil pot with the air dry clay. Okay, so when we come back, we'll add some more coils. All right, thank you guys. See you soon.